We do have a pretty dadgum special deal for you here. The Montana Hereford Association Sweethearts are going to sing our national anthem. That is Jory Miller and Hennessy Mernon. If you would please remove cover, give the proper respect for our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? Oh, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we walked. We're so gladly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, then a burst in the air, gives proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Jory Miller, Hennessy Mernon. Beautiful job, ladies. The Montana Hereford Association Sweethearts. What a way to start the show. Thank you very much, ladies, for a beautiful job of our nation's song. We are going to get it started here with a pair of spring heifer calves. We got a March and an April, making a March and a May calf coming in right here. This tag number 641, Wacy Simonson of Chinook, Montana, and 623, Bailey Kraft of Powell, Wyoming. Our show judge this morning is Jeremy Vitor of Tomball, Texas. Jeremy Vitor grew up in South Louisiana. As a student, she was very active in 4-H and junior livestock activities. Eventually, she served on the National Junior Angus and Brangus Board of Directors and won the National Showmanship contests in both breeds. She attended Clarendon Junior College and graduated from Texas A&M University. While at A&M, she was a member of the livestock judging team in the past. Jeremy worked for Camp Cooley Ranch, where she sold as many as 1,000 bulls annually. She also worked for the Silver Spur Ranch. While there, she was responsible for genetics, bull development, registered cattle marketing, and all natural age and source audits for the 15,000 cow herd. At ranch locations in Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, and Nebraska annually, she coordinated their AI program for 2,000 to 3,000 heifers and bull developments for better than 250 bulls. She owns cattle of multiple breeds across the country and prides herself in breeding and marketing cattle that network in both the show ring and the pasture. Jeremy and her mother operate a small cow-calf operation together near College Station, Texas. And Jeremy has judged literally all across the fruited plain from border to border and coast to coast. She has judged them all, and we are proud to have her with us here at the NILE for 2023.
Just a quick comment about those young ladies that sang the national anthem. I'm thankful to live in a country that they have the freedom to do that. With all the going on around the world, that's pretty cool that those two young ladies wanted to do that, and we get to have them do that. Nice pair of females here, and I had them take an extra spin just to look at these females, and both of them I want to change them in how they set their hind foot to the ground. I want to relax them there a little bit. Young man's heifer calf is beautiful, balanced, and I think just that added presence to that female, big bodied, soft, really attractive, long hipped. She just kind of surfaces to the top because of look and presence. She's a little tight in her forerib, a little closer down in her chest now, and we want that in some ways in terms of being juvenile and just not and fat and expansive. So, could she be just a little more pulled apart there at her chest? Possibly, but I think she's pretty juvenile and fresh. Heifer calf in second, you really need to study on this one because I think she's got lots of future to her. She's flat neck, she's square top, she's level hipped, good marked kind of a female. She's a little rigid today off of both ends, and I'd probably set her down in her pastern and give her a little more cushion at her knee. That's a pretty good one though. If she'll just soften a little bit and not get any straighter, that's a good prospect. So good way to start the show.
In reserve of the class right there, tag number 623, shown by Bailey Kraft of Powell, Wyoming, and Wasey Simonson has your class champion. Tag number 641, and that's going to bring us to class number 3 right here. Looks like we've got 5 in the class. We welcome tag number 601, shown by Kyle Bellas of Spangle, Washington. Harrison Mernon of Musselshell, Montana, brings us tag number 627. Zane Downey of Whitehall brings us tag number 609. Hennessy Mernon of Musselshell, Montana with 629. And Avery Moon of Ellensburg, Washington with 626. January and February calves right here.
Well, that was quite eventful. I think I was able to look at them. In all seriousness, when you sort the cattle and you look at them as individuals here, the young man here in the light blue shirt, that female, you know, and they're January and February calves. So at first I thought, wow, she's extra big. But no, if you think about it, I mean, we're in October, and from an age perspective, I think she's acceptable and not extra mature. I think she's still juvenile about her head, neck, and shoulder, because I'm really, like I say, I'm really big on keeping them fresh and juvenile looking at this age. On this female, you like her better when she's on the go than when she stops. When she stops here, she wants to break behind her shoulder a little bit. So I want to pick her up there, but she's extra level-hipped and really sound at the ground. And for me, she tracks as wide as any out here, other than the heifer that stands right behind her. I like the flatness of shoulder and the femininity about her over the female that stands here in second. And old knothead here that's sold up like a Brahman calf, I kidded with someone. She's the power female in the class in terms of muscle shape, and just, you like that about this female because she's huge backed and really wide from pin to pin, and at the ground she's wide traveling. Her neck comes out of her shoulder a little lower and just doesn't have that just really pretty feminine angular look, but surely a power female in this division or in this class. I like that female. And then we have three females that are just real fresh and a little piecier. Young man, let's bring your heifer around. This female, I'd like to power her up in terms of foot and bone to go with all that rib that she has in terms of depth of body. Very, very maternal in her look, but you read her in terms of her chest floor, and as she goes away from you, she's pretty flat in her design. I think time will be her friend because she's designed right from a skeletal standpoint, and the flex that she has. Just want to pull her apart in terms of just as she matures, I think it'll come, but right now she's pretty flat and closed up. Same thing with this next female. In terms of a beautiful look and levelness, we give up some in terms of squareness on this female. When she goes away from you, she wants to rotate her hock in, just not as true at the ground as that one right in front of her. She may actually be heavier muscled than the one that precedes her in class, but I just want to square her up. And then one that has some power and some foot and some structure to her in terms of build. She just doesn't hold herself together as well. She's a little bulkier and bolder at the top of her shoulder, but if you want some muscle, some shape, you appreciate that. Probably give her just a touch more in terms of weight per day of age relative to those others.
At the top two in the class right there, tag number 609 from Zane Doney of Whitehall, Montana. And it's going to be Ellensburg, Washington's Avon Moon with tag 626 to finish at the top. We're going to bring back in tag 641 and 623 from that first class to make selection of our champion junior heifer calf right here at division. Class number 7 got a single entry there. Tag number 617, you are on deck. Tag 617, we're going to see you right after division.
Folks, if you'll recall in that first class, we had two very attractive females. Both of them were just a little rigid in their movement. Of their hind pastern, not quite as comfortable as this female that wins the second class. So she's going to win our division. The young man in the blue shirt here, even though we want to strengthen that heifer a little bit behind her shoulder. Young man in the pink shirt with the old knothead here, she's going to be reserve division. So congratulations to him. She has a new name, Knothead.
Well, I'm told that knothead can be a term of endearment. I think it can. Congratulations there to your top two, 626 and 609. Going to be our champion junior heifer and reserve champion junior heifer calves. That is going to bring us to class number 7. Jagger Flash of Shelby, Montana is going to bring in tag number 617. This will be your champion intermediate yearling female. Then we'll go to class number 8. We got a pretty good size class coming up in class number 8. Take 625, Cooper Miller. Take 632, Megan Otis. Take 647, Lexi Wickman. Take 610, Crew Egbert. Tag number 646, Chloe Wardell. 624, Bailey Kraft. 628, Harrison Mernon. And 630, Hennessy Mernon. You are on deck. Right now we are looking at tag number 617, brought to us by Jagger Flesh.
Single entry female. It's really stout featured in terms of bone and foot, and you read this female in terms of strength at top and just the design to her hip. You appreciate the power that she has as I get right behind her there. Really wide pin female, gets out and travels well. One that maybe just could soften her ever so slightly in the lower part of her chest floor. But good, nice doing, good sound female for the young man. Congratulations to him.
Again, that is your champion intermediate yearling female. Tag number 617 from Shelby, Montana's Jagger Flesh. Welcome to class number 8. Class number 8, we are going to bring into the Ford F-150 show ring. Tag number 625, shown by Cooper Miller of Newcastle, Wyoming. 632, shown by Megan Otis of Immigrant, Montana. Tag number 647, shown by Lexi Wickman of Moore, Montana. Tag number 610, Crew Egbert of Fairfield, Montana. Tag 646, Chloe Ward of Sheridan, Wyoming. Bailey Kraft of Powell, Wyoming brings us 624. Harrison Mernon of Muscle Shell, Montana, 628. And Hennessy Mernon of Muscle Shell, Montana, number 630. A shout out and a thank you to AgriBest Feeds for their support of the NILE again this year. If you are looking for the best supplement for your cattle, you need look no further than AgriBest Feeds Sweet Pro. Sweet Pro is a complete supplement that helps cover your cattle's vitamins, mineral, protein, and energy needs, along with a powerful digestive aid that helps cattle get the very most out of every bite of forage. Sweet Pro comes standard with flax and MOS. It's got no molasses, no urea. Stop by and visit with AgriBest Feeds team at their booth across from the show ring. Stock Show Secrets would like to wish every exhibitor the very best of luck, and a thank you to Stock Show Secrets for coming on board as a brand new sponsor in 2023. Select Sires offering an expanded lineup of sire lineup that includes more elite bulls from respected programs. Select Sires, Calving Ease, Carcass Cows. Stop by and see Jane Ansel at their booth in the trade show, or visit with your local Select Sire representative. Pine Coulee Bulls. Bulls bred and tested for convenience, efficiency, and profit traits. Pine Coulee Bulls sale will be held March 11 of 2024 at the Wagon Box Ranch in Hardin, Montana. They'll sell 170 yearling bulls. Thank you to Jim Stamfel and John Carroll. Western Ag Reporter, serving the ag industry since 1940 and proud to be instrumental in starting the NILE, with founder Pat Goggins holding the #1 charter. Stop by their booth and sign up for your subscription today.
Doug, we have 2 more coming on this one.
We do have 2 more coming.
You guys are in place just as you are. 1, 2, 3, 4. Young man's female, young man in the black hat here is that female comes in the ring here and just kind of catches your attention with a wow factor in terms of muscle, and to have as much width and shape as she has and still be nice at the point of her shoulder. She really does a nice job in terms of blending that in. You know, you get super nitpicky because none of them are perfect. Is she carrying a little extra flesh in her chest? Maybe, but she's better than all the others out here in terms of how she holds that together. And she's big and stout and wolfy and powerful and all that kind of stuff. So she wins the class. Female, the redneck female here in second is longer bodied, longer spined, and I like that female because of that. She doesn't balance quite as well as our class winner in terms of just where she hooks up behind her shoulder, from there to the base of her chest, over the top of her neck, just not as symmetrical as our class winner, but I appreciate her soundness, her foot size, etc. We give up some power on this next female in terms of just body dimension, depth of body, in terms of shape to her lower stifle. But she's the one that has more reach comparative to this one that stands in fourth. I just like to pull her up from pin to pin, or widen her up from pin to pin and at her stifle. I like this female in fourth when she stopped really well. She has a beautiful presence about her. Very, very attractive female, well presented. You like all of that about her. But when she gets out in strides, she's just short-strided, and it starts up at her hip or in her loin, and she just doesn't get out and reach and flex or hawk as I'd like to see, but very, very well balanced. If you swap third and fourth, I don't argue very hard with you at all. And then let's go ahead and bring around some of these other cattle. Young man, let's bring her around. Y'all can go ahead out. Kind of a functional, just practical, let's go around this way, buddy. Functional, practical, sound-made female. You like that. And you have to make some hard decisions here when you get into a class with this kind of quality. Her chest floor throws her balance off. From her mid-rib back, you love the cow power and cow look about that female. Just want to tuck her chest floor in. One that's probably just a bit more attractive and more up-headed comes next. The same thing, her balance is off just a little bit because of where that condition sets in her chest floor. She's strong top, she's round in her ribs, sound enough. Very attractive headed female, very maternal look. We like that about her. Young man that comes around next, the 6'10", dark, let's see, black hat, dark. Turn to your right, buddy. That's it. Okay, come on this way. This female just gets a little flat compared to some of those others in front of her. When you watch her as she goes away from you from hooks to pins and then down to her stifle, she just tapers. But functional in terms of being very sound. You read the slopes and angles of that female, just gets closed up as she goes away from you. And then we conclude with a female that has some good things about her in terms of foot shape and skeletal design. Not as heavy in her condition, not as stout in terms of her feature.
Your top two of the class right there. 632 from Megan Otis of Immigrant, Montana. And also 625 at the top of the class, Cooper Miller, Newcastle, Wyoming. They will be your champion spring yearling female and reserve. And so we will welcome in to the show ring class number 9, junior yearling females, calved in the months of January and February. This is tag number 613. We're going to welcome in Kingston Egbert of Fairfield, Montana with tag 613. Colton Shepard of Shoshone, Wyoming with tag 639. Garrett Burkett of Evansville, Wyoming with 604. Cheyenne Shepard of Shoshone, Wyoming brings us tag 640. Lydia Shaw of Decker, Montana with tag number 637. Kyle Bells of Spangle, Washington with 602. And Crew Egbert of Fairfield, Montana brings in tag number 611. And this is a single class division, so our class champions here will also be our champion junior yearling female and reserve.
There was an Angus class yesterday or day before. They're all the days are kind of running together right now, and I said, this is what I expected when I came to Montana in terms of Angus cattle. Well, this is what I expected when I come to Montana in terms of Hereford cattle. So, folks, put your hands together, top to bottom. This is a really, really good class of cattle. Just functional, practical, good-bodied cattle, and as Hereford breeders, I think you ought to be proud of them. And I'm going to get on my soapbox here for just a second. I'm going to say the first 5 cattle in here, yeah, first 5, they're kind of like me. They need to push away from the dinner table some, okay? They like to eat. And as we've changed genetics in our cattle across time, we hadn't changed our feeding regimes, you know, just because, you know, uncle and aunt or whoever used to feed cattle, we fed them twice a day and we fed grain, we've continued to do so. Well, we've taken our cattle genetically have advanced to where they're more efficient, and maybe sometimes these cattle don't need grain, they just need forage, and we need to have them out on grass and don't have to be fed twice a day, or maybe they can be leaned up some and just not as much concentrate. So I guess that's the one thing I would say is that I'd probably lean up the first 5 cattle out here, and I think that's just a show cattle thing in general. That we don't think about, that we've made cattle more efficient, and we don't have to do it that way just because that's the way it's been done. Female that wins the class, at first when she came in, I thought, gosh, she's kind of deep-jawed and ugly-headed. Well, I still think she's deep-jawed and ugly-headed. But with that said, she's just a massive cow in terms of body and stoutness and power. And when in my mind, I peel that condition off, because I always think in my mind, now what if I kick her out in the pasture and she's on grass 90 days and she calves, what is she going to look like? Well, I think that female is going to just have enough durability that she's not going to change a lot in terms of rib and mass, and she tracks wide, she's nice at the ground. So she just kind of surfaces to the top. And, you know, it's easy to say with that female that stands there in second is probably a little flatter necked and longer bodied. I don't argue with you, but she doesn't have as much power. She doesn't have as much flank when you back away from her. Doesn't have as much push when you read her like I'm at a 3/4 angle in the lower stifle. So just not as much power, but that young man does a phenomenal job showing that female, and he makes my job hard because he does a good job. Next young man, hey, you're winning. Come on, you got her stopped. Now I'm going to make you move. Come on. This kind of yellow-colored heifer, you know, just practical is what comes to mind. You read her, and I think about her out in the pasture, and that's the kind of cow you could have 1,000 of them, and they keep you in the cow business. She's so sound and just reaches and gives, and athleticism that you see you love on that cow. She gets a little plainer underneath her jowl and in her chest floor, just that same thing about, you know, we've been feeding her along the way, and it settles there. But big-bodied, soft, attractive, sound, practical is what comes to mind. So she ends up there kind of a logical spot. I wanted to swap this female, but I think the soundness advantage goes to the yellow heifer. This female, you want to lay her shoulder blade back and change her in terms of how she handles her hind leg. She carries some extra condition. She sets her pins a little low. If you want to say she's stout and heavy-muscled and big-footed, I don't disagree with any of that. And you can swap them, but her shoulder blade's a hair forward for me. I think she just needs to be leaned up and stretched out. When you look at her compared to some of these other cattle, needs to be lengthened out. Again, a young man that does a great job getting her shown. Length advantage comes to this one here. Muscle advantage isn't hers, though, because the one right in front of her is longer bodied, is stouter made. She's longer bodied here. Really sound at the ground, maybe a little extra cushion there from her hooks or from her heel to her dew claw. Not as pulled apart in terms of muscle shape. You read her from hooks to pins, and you read her in her chest floor, a little narrower made, narrow gauge female. Long-sided female, one of the leaner ones here in terms of condition, gonna stay sound forever, but just when she goes away from you, gets to where she wants to rotate. rotate her hocks in some. On her pastern, she's not as comfortable. She wants to be a little more rigid. You can see as she gets out and goes, just doesn't have a long, fluid, easy stride. And then we conclude with a female here. In terms of soundness, she has more cushion off of her hind legs. She gets too flat as she goes away from you. Just want to give that female more shape, more lower rib and flank. Young man's doing a nice job out here. Let's put our hands together, top to bottom. That was a solid class that you really have to respect.
Finishing in the reserve there was Garrett Burke of Evansville, Wyoming, with tag number 604. And 637 is your class winner. That is Lydia Shaw of Decker, Montana. They are going to be your champion junior yearling and reserve champion junior yearling females. We'll flop the page now. Go to class number 10, a single entry. Senior yearling females, calving in August or December. Looking at a late December calf right here. Chesney DeBow of Belgrade, Montana, with tag number 608.
Another one of those loose strided, good doing kind of a females. Appreciate the extension that she has. She's one again that we can lean up some. You just read the condition in the lower third of her body. But big barreled, sound enough as she gets out and goes. Appreciate the attractiveness of that female. Congratulations to that young lady as a single entry.
Going to be your champion senior yearling female right there. Tag number 608, shown by Chesney DeBay of Belgrade, Montana. Now to champion female and reserve champion. Is that what you have? I believe we are going to go now to select our champion female and reserve champion female. So if you are in contention for selection, welcome back.
really impressive lineup of cattle as we get them out here, and you can see just some consistency in terms of softness to their body and rib shape. Tell you what, let's do this. As they get reset here, folks, let me ask you just one last time. Put your hands together, show our appreciation on just quality of the cattle. As I said, when you come to Montana, this is what you would expect to see in terms of cow power and functionality. I appreciate that a whole bunch on these cattle. Just a few brief comments before we close, and I think it's important for me to say that I think the opportunity I get to sort shows, and I've been consistent about this in all the junior shows that we talked about. For you folks in the ring, folks back in the barn, and then folks here ringside, I'm going to offer you that, you know, we have the opportunity to go out and talk about agriculture, and some of you may have heard this, some of you that are just joining us for the Hereford show. I think that we need to recognize that we need to go out and talk about the beef industry. We need to tell people outside of our normal circle that we're stewards of the land, that beef is a nutritious product. Because I tell you what, folks, that if you look at the East Coast and the West Coast and outside of agriculture, there's a lot of folks that don't support our livelihood in the way that you might think. So young folks and then parents ringside, I hope when you meet with a doctor, a lawyer, a preacher, a school teacher, whoever it is, you have the chance to have a conversation about our beef industry. I hope you'll do that, because if you don't, the story that the other side is telling, you're not going to like their version. And so with that, I'm going to conclude and just ask that you guys keep that in mind so that these young people can bring their kids back to the NILE one day to show cattle. Thanks again for the opportunity. I think that'll be the last show I've sorted, and I don't want to say our guy up here running the music, you've done a heck of a good job, Doug. Thank you for keeping us entertained.
While Jeremy is double checking and getting ready to make her selection here, I do want to remind you, Supreme Contenders, you need to check in at the livestock office. Our junior show is going to start at 5 o'clock, selecting the female first and then the bull, and the same at 5:30 for the open. But Supreme Contenders, we do need for you to check in at the livestock office, please. That is not optional. That is a must. Supreme Contenders, please, at the office. Congratulations to your champion right there. That is tag number 625, shown by Cooper Miller of Newcastle, Wyoming. And finishing in the reserve champion female department, tag number 637. 637, that is shown by Lydia Shaw of Decker, Montana. And I believe we do have just one in the bull show, and then we'll go to showmanship. We'll look here at one brought in from Megan Otis in our single bull in the bull show. 634, Immigrant Montana's Megan Otis brings us Chico Peak. And just so you're all aware of what is coming up, we're going to go right from here into showmanship. There will be a break between the junior and the open classes for photos, and that's going to be the only break we take for photos, just the one between the two classes. We'll get all the way to the end of the open before we do breaks for any more photos.
Young lady brings us a really rugged featured bull as a single entry here in our bull show, and you appreciate him in terms of strength to his top and his hip design. Gets out and goes adequately enough. Just a rugged, stout individual. So congratulations to her. Certainly one that's I think would be competitive with others here.
Awfully nice single entry right there. 634 Chico Peak from Megan Otis of Immigrant, Montana. That'll be your champion yearling bull. We're going to move now to showmanship. We've got a Pee-wee division of showmanship to start out with here. 5 in the class. We are going to welcome in our first class of showmanship here. We've got Pee-wee showmanship. These are young people ages 7 to 9 as of the first of the year. We're going to welcome from Musselshell, Montana, Harrison Mernon. Also from Musselshell, Montana, Hennessy Mernon. Colton Shepard of Shoshone, Wyoming. Crew Egbert of Fairfield, Montana. And Chesney DeBay of Belgrade, Montana. Junior Showman, you're on deck.
My absolute least favorite thing to judge is Pee Wee showmanship, especially when you have to place them. I'd rather sort the parents than the kids at this age. So let's put our hands together for all of our Pee Wees for the efforts here. We're going to name two, is what they tell us, or how we're going to do this. Young lady at the far right is going to be first place. She's done a nice job, very consistent on setting that heifer up. She understands where she needs to have feed, etc. And then our young man that stands with the red vest right here in front of me and black hat, young man, you're going to be second place. So congratulations again, guys, and just keep working at this. It gets easier every time you go in the ring, and come back and watch some of these older kids so you'll kind of better understand where we need to be. So congratulations to each of our Pee Wees out here.
Congratulations, finishing in the top two of the Pee Wee class right there. Number 612, Crew Egbert of Fairfield, Montana. And your class champion, half of the Montana Hereford Sweethearts, Hennessy Mernon of Musselshell, Montana. We'll welcome in our junior showman now, ages 10 to 13. Wasey Simonson of Chinook, Montana. Jager Flesh of Shelby, Montana. Cooper Miller of Newcastle, Wyoming. Chloe Wardell of Sheridan, Wyoming. Bailey Kraft of Powell, Wyoming. Kingston Egbert of Fairfield. And Cheyenne Shepard of Shoshone, Wyoming.
I know we're only supposed to name 2, but I'm going to name 3. Young man with a black hat out here, and in terms of just working at it, and he gets his heifer set, it takes him maybe just a hair long sometimes. He knows where she needs to be, and he gets her there. I would encourage him, just work at walking that heifer into being set up, and then centering her head, bring her back around just a little bit. To me, young man, you're going to be 3rd today. I added 1 on here. And then it gets really tough between these next 2 individuals, and I'm going to tell you, a lot of times in showmanship, I make my decisions based on who makes the fewest mistakes. And young man in the middle here, he does an excellent job, but he made a pretty big faux pas a while ago when we were side by side. He pulled that heifer out, and he really could have taken 2 steps up and reset. And he just went around, and when he made that circle, he didn't turn into his heifer. He pulled her too. So when you're going to be 2nd today, and you're going to remember this, and you can go, but you're not going to make that mistake again, okay? Because you could have taken 2 steps up and reset and been good. He does a phenomenal job setting that heifer up and getting her shown. I would encourage him, just slow down a touch, okay? There's a time when he stops. He's in a rush to get her there, and he knows he's got some things he has to do, so just slow down a little bit. She's getting tired, buddy. Don't get frustrated with her. Young lady, congratulations. You've made the fewest mistakes, and you're going to win today. She's done a nice job. She's been very, very consistent in presenting that heifer. The one thing I would encourage you to watch is every once in a while, you're not quite straight in line where you need to be, so just watch that about being straight in line. Congratulations top to bottom here. Congratulations to our other exhibitors here. Just some small things that make differences. When you come to a corner, you want to make sure you make a square or on that corner. You don't want to get in the bend of a corner. You want to work at walking those cattle into being set up, and then really slow down on your stick speed. Some of you getting pretty fast on your stick speed. So folks ringside, let's put our hands together and show them our appreciation.
Top 3 in the class right there. Junior showmanship. Wasey Simonson of Chinook, Montana finishes 3rd. 2nd goes to Cooper Miller of Newcastle, Wyoming. And your class champion, junior showmanship champion, Chloe Wardell of Sheridan, Wyoming. We've got 4 of them to look at right here in the intermediate showmanship. This is ages 14 to 17. Megan Otis of Immigrant, Montana with tag number 632. Lexi Wickman of Moore, Montana with 647. Garrett Burkett of Evansville, Wyoming with 604. And Zane Downey, Whitehall, Montana, 609.
I'm not going to beleaguer this and take a lot of time because I've watched these individuals just show on our junior show. And you know, sometimes there's just, I've judged National Hereford Junior Showmanship Contest some years back, and I understand what it takes. And sometimes there's individuals that come in and you go, wow, that kid's got what it takes. And there's several of you in here that have what it takes, and just your demeanor, your body, how you handle your show stick, etc. So keep charging forward, and I see that in you, and I appreciate that in terms of style, and just how you handle yourself in the ring. Young lady down here on the far right probably does as smooth a job and sets up as quick as anybody. I'm one of those people where I'd like to see you turn your posture more at a 45-degree angle where your hip isn't as to me as much. Exactly. That's a personal preference. I think that's something you can see more of your cattle when you step off at a 45-degree angle. But I think you're very smooth and you set up quickly. Young lady with the branded heifer here, I'd like to see you slow down some, and then we got to get that heifer to where she leads a little easier. Pick her old head up. And then the young man making the turn, he does a really nice job, but I want him to slow down. Everything you do, you got to slow down and then stand up, okay? Because you get your neck kind of turtled in there, so your posture you got to watch. But you do a really good job in terms of getting that female set. He's obviously spent some time with that female and knows they work well together. He knows what she needs to do, and she knows when she's cooperating what she needs to do. But I would encourage him just to slow down a little bit. And then this gentleman brought Knothead back, and you know, sometimes when you make an adjustment and to kind of have a change, things get to where they work better. And he made a change back there, and he came back with a different lead. She responds differently. But this guy, in terms of his demeanor, his stick speed, his professionalism, he's just somebody, I'll be honest with you, you can stick cattle for me any day. Young man, you're going to win the intermediate division. Gentleman right next to him, you're going to be second. So congratulations. All of you have some things that I think you need to be commended on. This is a tough division, so congratulations.
Congratulations to Zane Downey of Whitehall, Montana, going to be your champion. Reserve will go to Garrett Burkett of Evansville, Wyoming. Our final showmanship class, just two in the class. We welcome in Samantha Scott of Parachute, Colorado, and Kyle Bells of Spangle, Washington, 635 and 602.
Our young man out here, I thought when he showed that female out in class, I thought, wow, this guy's super, just really one cool cucumber. And I still think that in terms of how easy and cool he is, in terms of his stick speed and how relaxed he is with that female, and she knows what he expects of her. So I think that's a really good team. Our younger heifer isn't cooperating as much. Young lady knows what she wants her to do. Just her teammate isn't as cooperative today. Young man, you're going to win our senior division. Young lady will be second. Congratulations to them.
In reserve, Samantha Scott of Parachute, Colorado, and Kyle Bells of Spangle, Washington is your senior showmanship champion. With that will conclude our junior show. We're going to shut her down for about 15 minutes right now. It is 2:23 right now. Let's say at 2:40. We'll say at 2:40 we're going to get back underway with the show for the Open. And Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, Willow Red. Red Willow. Tag 523, you're going to show us a pair. That'll start us off. That'll happen at 2:40. Open show starts at 2:40. Welcome to the open show. Your open Hereford show. We got a single entry right here to start us off. This is going to be a cow-calf pair. Tag number 523 from Red Willow of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Our judge for the open this morning, Mr. Dustin Frank. Dustin lives in Chapel, Nebraska, where he owns and operates Frank Cattle and Genetics with his wife, Kendra, and their son, Jesse. They focus on raising seed stock, Angus and Red Angus cattle, and marketing them through their annual production sales in November and February. Dustin judged collegiately as CSU under Shane Bidwell.
So we get things kicked off out here in this open show. This couple brings a nice pair out here to the show, a summer cabin pair. A real sharp-featured kind of a cow there with a tidy udder. She's definitely giving it all to her calf. He's a little Mayborn calf, just a young little guy. Looks like she's going to wean a high percentage of her body weight there, if I were to venture to guess. Just very comparable type, though. You can see kind of the femininity in that cow and kind of the length and extension you get in this bull calf. He's a little green yet and young, but he looks like he's got the right parts and pieces, and these folks have done a nice job getting them mated and bred and presented out here today. Let's give them a big hand.
Nice presentation right there of a cow-calf pair. Tag 523 for that is Red Willow Jazz Dancer with calf at side. Now let's go to spring heifer calves, March through June of 2023. A good handful of entries right here. Gene Stillhand of Cheyenne, Wyoming brings us tag 564. Also, tag 544 from Bailey Craft of Powell, Wyoming. Beth Bunkers of Roscoe, Montana brings us 506. Frank Hereford's of Roscoe, Montana brings us 528. Gene Stillhand of Cheyenne, Wyoming, 565. And Frank Hereford's of Roscoe, 527. This is class number 2. Junior heifer calves, January and February calves, you're on deck.
So we jump off into this first division of these Hereford heifers. We've got the youngest heifer in the lead and the oldest one there in the second hole. Good pair of females, fundamentally correct type females that are built right. It's the subtle differences, I think, just in terms of eye appeal and balance that lends to that younger heifer. There's a little discrepancy maybe just in terms of body mass, and I think that advantage goes to the heifer there in second. I'm okay with it today. I think that these heifer calves ought to be a little lean and green. There's a lot of style and appeal in this heifer there in the lead, and I specifically think she's rocked back and maybe made just a little neater in her shoulder than some of these other cattle in this class. This view right here is just, it's incredibly good, that heifer that wins. Goggle-eyed heifer there in second, good female, broody, very maternal in her type. She's got a really nice hip and hind leg in her. She's maybe just a little more compact and jammed up to that front end. I think that'll present some problems showing her on down the road, just keeping her chest in her and keeping her fresh, but still the right kind to go out and be a real productive cow. Heifer that comes in third is much alike her. She's not giving us her best day today. She's a little tight on the halter there. Maybe just a little tighter in her hock, and a little sharper in the set of it. Nonetheless, a heifer that's presented well out here. She's broody in terms of that body shape. I don't know that there's quite the same muscle shape in that female as the heifer that lands in second, and I think that's the difference between second and third. Heifer that comes out here in fourth is another kind of functional made, high performing, low maintenance looking type of female, if you will. Great body shape, looks like she's going to be easy fleshing. She's a little plainer in her look than those top three heifers, specifically up there through her front third. Maybe doesn't handle her hock or travel quite as comfortably off of them hind two. This red-necked heifer that comes out behind her, very similar type. One that's maybe just a little shorter and tighter hipped, but everything from there forward is really nice. Got a bold body shape in her. Looks like she's off to a good start for a long, productive life as a cow. And then the young lady's heifer that rounds things out, just a little behind in terms of performance and flesh and bloom today. But sure enough, a good type. Good on those feet and legs, just needs a little more time.
In reserve of the class right there from Roscoe, Montana, Frank Hereford brings his tag 527. And the class champion goes to Gene Stillhan of Cheyenne, Wyoming with tag 564. We're going to take a look right now at a pretty good sized class of junior heifer calves, calved in the months of January and February of 2022. Kyle Bells of Spangle, Washington with tag number 501. Harrison Mernon of Muscle Shell, Montana with 550. Emily Holt of Decker, Montana, bringing in tag 539. Marty Wilcox of Spangle, Washington with tag 577. Gene Stillhan of Cheyenne, Wyoming, bringing in 566. Your Story Hereford Ranch of Bosangeles, Montana, 569. Hennison Mernon of Muscle Shell, Montana with 552. Samantha Scott of Parachute, Colorado with 559. And Story Hereford of Bozeman, 570.
excellent pair of females here in this January-February class. A pair of females that I think, specifically in this class, they've got some longevity and some future to them, and that's the way I try to pick these heifer calves. I don't necessarily just come out here and use the stoutest one. At the end of the day, though, the difference between them is that one's probably just a little bloomier and a little more ready. Young man's heifer here is really attractive and neat made up through that front end, and so is the heifer in second, but the big advantage is from there back, she's just a little bolder everywhere. She's more opened up in that forerib and in her center body, and a little stouter from behind yet today, and she's probably just a little more rugged in her bone work. I think both of these females are excellent on their feet and legs, and they're both the right type to hold together and be very competitive on down the road. Heifer in second, I actually prefer the way she handles her spine on the move. She's set just a little nicer right there in her loin, and the way she transitions back there from her shoulder. Today she's just a little finer made, maybe just a little more refined. I think that she'll be very competitive on down the road. She just needs a little more time to mass up to be more competitive with that really nice heifer that wins the class. Kind of the odd man out of those top three is the young lady's heifer here in third. The red-necked heifer is a very unique type. If you prefer your cattle to be more moderate and powerful and stout, she'd sure be your kind. I like the ruggedness she represents. In my mind, it's a bit concerning to be that stout at this age. She's a little more open in her shoulder. She wants to come in ever so slightly at her knee, and she's just a little shorter and rounder out of her hip. But a good type of a female that I think is still plenty functional. Heifer that comes in behind her, great little cow prospect here. Very productive in her look. She's got a real nice maternal head. She's got a maternal shape to her neck and just a maternal shape to her body. Today, she don't have the balance of those three ahead of her. She doesn't quite piece it together quite as nicely. She might be just a little plainer there in her muscle shape compared to that heifer in third. Young lady's little heifer that comes next, she's just moderate. She's probably a little greener, a little younger, a little behind in terms of performance, but I think she'll have her day one of these days. She's dang sure the right kind. So we work down through the class. This is a deep, tough class. A lot of nice females out here. I mean, as you can see, this heifer here has got the length and she's got the style. She needs a little more body. And these heifers that kind of finish things out, they're each a little greener in their kind, maybe just a little piecier in the way that they're made in their shoulder, but they're still good functional cattle. Let's give all these exhibitors a big hand.
Finishing in the top two of the class right there, we congratulate Harrison Mernon of Muscle Shell, Montana, with tag number 550, and your class champion from Story Hereford Ranch in Bozeman, Montana, tag number 570. That was Carly. We are going to bring back the top two from the previous class, 564 and 527, to make selection of our champion junior heifer calf and reserve. Class number 4, senior heifer calves, calved in November or December of last year. You are on deck. There's 504, 541, and 510.
We get these two spring heifer calves back out here, very comparable types. Once again, that heifer that won the first class, I think there's a lot of future in that female. She's dang sure made nice. She's the right type. Just to put it real simply, she's the right type. Today, she's a little green compared to the other heifers in this division, but I'm okay with that. I think there's still a lot of future in her. And that's not to take anything away from the young man's heifer that won the second class, because she's very high quality herself. That's a good female that's made right, and today she is just a little more ready. She is a little bloomier in that body shape. She's got just a little more punch and power to her. She's going to be your champion.
Congratulations to your champion right there. Tag number 5. Tag number 570 from the Story Hereford Ranch of Bozeman, Montana. We're going to now make selection of our reserve.
We bring that second place in out of that second class. Another heifer that fits right in the mold of the type that I like. Good structured, great on her feet and legs, and just phenomenal balance here from the side. I think I need to keep those two heifers together from that class because they do have a little more body shape to them today, just a little more maternal looking in that rib shape. But a great trio of females out here, and 4 great females that come out of this first division. I'm excited for what else we'll have. Congrats, guys. Nice set of heifers.
In reserve right there, tag number 550, shown by Harrison Mernon of Muscle Shell, Montana. That'll bring us to class number 4. We've got 3 in this class. David Brownell of Pindroy, Montana, brings us tag number 504. Emily Holt of Decker, Montana, 541. And Dan Daniels of Mountain, Idaho, bringing in tag 510. Whoopsie, single entry here. My bad. I'm sorry. Single entry 504. A single entry. Then it's going to be class number 5, 541, and 510.
Good coming yearling here in this next division. Good female, got some shape to her, got some length, got some ruggedness to her. Nice type of female. Be interesting to see how she stacks up when she comes back in that division. But getting things started off here right, let's give that guy a big hand.
Number 504 right there, your single class champion. That is David Brownell from Pindroy, Montana. We'll tag 504. Now we're going to go to class number 5. I tried to run them together on you. My apologies. Tag number 541, Emily Holt of Decker, Montana. And tag number 510, Dan Daniels of Mountain, Idaho.
this next class of yearlings that comes in, we got a nice pair of females. They're totally different in their type. I'm going to use the more moderate kind of cowier looking heifer out here. I think she's made just a little nicer in her shoulder. She's more correct in the angle up there through that front end. She really handles herself on the move. Then I think from there back, she just comes with more mass, more body shape, more punch all the way through. Very rugged type of a female. Heifer in second there is just a little cleaner and neater up there through her front end. She's a long-bodied, kind of later maturing type. I wish we could relax her in that angle of that shoulder and that knee just a little bit, but she's still just a little greener and maybe just a little harder in her body shape today. She'll come with time. She just needs a little more bloom.
Emily Holt of Montana finishes at the coveted top position of the class, and then Dan Daniels out of Mallet, Idaho finishes in reserve. We're going to bring back in here class number 4, tag number 504, to make selection of our champion senior heifer calf. We'll follow that up with selection for reserve champion senior heifer calf. Early summer yearling females, May calves. You are coming up. Tags 526, 562, and 524. You're on deck.
This fall yearling division was a little shy on numbers, but we got an awful nice female that's going to win the division. This pair of heifers is nice. They represent what's right with the breed in terms of having some ruggedness in their foot and bone, and it looks like they'll have some longevity to go out and be productive cows. Young lady's heifer out of that second class, though. She does it with a little more class and eye appeal, maybe set up just a little better out of her hip and hind leg. She'll be your champion.
Congratulations to Emily Holt out of Decker, Montana with tag number 541. That is Miranda 2. Going to be your champion senior heifer calf. We're going to bring in tag 510, Dan Daniels, to check out for reserve.
We pull that second in out of that class. That champion kind of dominated the division with some extra mass and body shape. And both of these heifers are just a little greener than her, maybe just a little harder in that rib shape. But I still like the eye appeal and the elegance in that second place heifer out of that second class. She'll be your reserve.
Congratulations in reserve right there. Tag number 510. That one shown by Dan Daniels of Mallet, Idaho. We drop down now to class number 7. These are early summer yearling females, calving in the month of May of 2022. There's 3 to look at. Jagger Flash of Shelby, Montana is going to bring us tag number 526. Kelly Spencer of Casey, Wyoming with 562. And Red Willow of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, bringing us 524. This will be your champion intermediate female and reserve. Class number 8, spring yearling females, March through April of 2022. You're on deck. Pretty good size class coming up on deck. Tag 546, 555, 576, 519, 575, 511, 545, 551, 553, and 531. You are all on deck.
we get into this first class of these summer yearlings. Nice red-necked heifer that wins the class. These two heifers are kind of polar opposites, both high-performing, long-bodied type cattle. I just think the red-necked heifer there, with some freckles on her face, she's just a little more maternal type, maybe just a little toned down and more refined in her joint work, really fluid in her movement, and still probably just a little more maternal in her feature all the way through. Heifer that's there in second, really stout and rugged type. If you like them punchier, you probably like her. She's got more bone and more muscle. I just don't know. She's a little plainer up there through her front end, a little coarser in that shoulder. Doesn't blend together quite as smoothly as that heifer that wins the class.
Your champion intermediate yearling female is going to go to tag 524, shown by Red Willow, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. That is Red Willow, Carmelita. And in reserve, it'll be tag number 562, shown by Kelly Spencer of Casey, Wyoming, with Miss Win Diamond 2. And that is going to bring us to the following class. We are going to welcome in to the Ford F-150 show ring. Tag number 555, the triple nickel tag from Megan Otis of Immigrant, Montana. Lexi Wickman of Moore, Montana, bringing 576. Crew Egbert of Fairfield, Montana, with 519. Chloe Wardell of Sheridan, Wyoming, 575. Dan Daniels of Mellon, Idaho, tag number 511. Bailey Craft of Powell, Wyoming, 545. Harrison Mernon of Muscle Shell, Montana, 551. Hennessy Mernon of Muscle Shell with 553. And Frank Hereford's out of Roscoe, Montana, taking in 531. And this will be your champion intermediate heifer calf and your reserve champion intermediate heifer calf. And again, just a reminder to you, Supreme Row. Supremes, you have to check in at the livestock office by 5 o'clock tonight. Juniors start at 5. Supreme Row Open is at 5:30. And everybody, all the Supreme contestants need to be checked in at the office by 5 o'clock tonight.
So we get things narrowed down to a good pair here at the top end of this next division. A deep division, deep class. Would have been fun to break it down maybe just a little bit, but two good heifers up here at the top end of this deal. Very, very similar in their type and their look. I shouldn't say their type. They're very similar in their look here from the side profile. They're both nicely balanced. They're the two best balanced cattle out here by some margin. But I think there's a difference just in terms of genuine shape, squareness, and athleticism on the move. Young man's heifer there in the lead is going to win this division. Awful good female. I mean, it's hard to pick a hole in one that's that stout, but still fresh and moves as good as you could ask for. Awful good female. Honestly, I really like this heifer in second. I just question how much stoutness is actually there. She's a little more closed up underneath. I don't know that she's got the same fresh muscle shape and freshness all the way through as that heifer that wins the division. Nonetheless, still a good type of female. Don't get me wrong. She still has a great body shape in her. She's got a nice balanced look here from the side. She's still rugged in the way that she's featured. And I think that's what keeps her there in that reserve hole. Heifer that comes out in third is one I like. I personally like this female a lot, and honestly, I went back and forth on that reserve selection there because I think there's a lot of good in this female. Very nice type, very athletic in her movement. Outside of that chest and that front end, that's probably what gets her slid down there in that third hole. I think both 3 and 4 are a lot alike. Those heifers probably just have a little too much chest, maybe run down hill just a little more than I like them. The dark red heifer here is the most moderate heifer in the class. Not saying there's anything wrong with that. She's going to make a beautiful little cow. She's probably just not quite upstanding enough for the show ring. Female that comes out next has a tremendous muscle shape to her. I like the power. Probably comes with more consequences though. A little more open in that shoulder, just a little more rigid in her movement, but sure like the power in that female. Female that comes behind her, there in that 5th or 6th slot, long-bodied, high-performing type female. Very sound, very athletic. She kicks off kind of a set of these heifers that are all just a little plainer in their type. And I think that's what, in a tough class like that, you kind of make a sort on type alone, from the start. These heifers are just a little plainer. This female here is the right kind. She's just a little more upright in that shoulder, a little thicker in her neck, maybe still just a little drier in her body shape. All good exhibitors, though, good cattle. Let's give them a big hand.
Your reserve champion intermediate heifer calf coming right there. Tag number 555, the old triple nickel tag. Golden Glitter, shown by Megan Otis of Immigrant, Montana. And at the top of the class, tag number 546, it's going to be your champion intermediate heifer calf. That one brought to us by Cooper Miller of Newcastle, Wyoming. Going to move to class number 9 right here. Looks like there's 5 of them. Kingston Egbert of Fairfield, Montana, bringing us King's Grace Masterpiece, tag number 521. Garrett Burkett of Evansville, Wyoming, bringing us tag number 509. And Lydia Shaw of Decker, Montana, with 560. Kyle Bells of Spangle, Washington, number 502. And Crew Egbert of Fairfield, Montana, number 520.
another nice class out here in these January, February heifers, and we get it narrowed down. It's another division selection within the class here, and we get it narrowed down to two really nice females here at the top end, and they're a little different speed, a little different type, but they're both the right kind. Both going to be very productive type females. In the end, I think it's freshness and athleticism that sorts the pair for me. Young man's heifer here in the lead is going to be your champion. I really like the freshness. I like the extension up there through that front end and the freshness up there through her front end to go along with her extra athleticism on the move. Heifer can just really get out and move so effortlessly. She's great on her feet and legs. She's got great style to her, and she's still bold in her shape. She's still a bold sprung type of a female that's wide and muscular. Just a very complete package there to win this next division. Heifer that's going to wind up reserve is an upstanding female with plenty of length herself. She's extra deep bodied and soft looking here from the side. I'm just not quite as comfortable with her on the move, guys. She's got a little more bark on her. As you study her up there ahead of her shoulder, she's probably just a little staler in her shape up there. Heifer kind of wants to run downhill on us a little bit. She's just a little straighter in the angle of that hock and maybe just a little tighter in that stifle joint. Just doesn't want to move out like that heifer that wins the division. Really nice pair, though, here at the top. Heifer that comes in third has a quality look to her. Eye-appealing, balanced type of a female on the standstill. On the move, I'd like to modify her. She wants to roll up in that top line, drop them pins, and just be a little tight in her movement there on the go. On the standstill, you like her shape, like her power. Females that come out next are both real productive types, moderate, going to be really easy fleshing little cows. Like the body shape in the cattle, like the mobility of the cattle. They're just a little plainer than those more stylish heifers on up ahead of them. Great group of exhibitors. Let's give them a big hand as they exit the ring.
Congratulations to your reserve champion junior yearling female. That's tag number 560, Miranda, shown by Lydia Shaw of Decker, Montana. Your champion junior yearling female wears tag number 509. That is Garrett Burkett of Evansville, Wyoming. Congratulations. Going to go to a single entry class right here. Senior yearling females calving in the month of August through December. We've got a late December calf right here from Belgrade, Montana, Chesney DeBay. Tag number 516. This is Jewel. This will be your champion senior yearling heifer. And after this one, we will make selection for our grand champion heifer.
Got a big old broody heifer out here, single entry in the December division. Like the extra power to the female, like the performance of her. Really rugged in terms of her feet and legs. Sound and athletic too for as stout and massive as she is. She balances nice here from the side. Just a lot of good things in that female. She's got a little chest to her, but I'm okay with that. I think that she's going to make a very productive cow for this young lady. This pair is kind of fun to watch too. This little girl is this big heifer is giving her a run for her money, and there's no quit in her. She's doing an awesome job getting this heifer shown and stuck out here, even just pushing on her quite a bit and everything else like she is. But good heifer, great young lady out here showing her. Let's give her a big hand.
That is your champion senior yearling heifer shown by Chesney DeBay of Belgrade, Montana. Jewel. We're in 516. Grand champion heifer is what we're up to selecting right here. So if you are in contention for selection of grand champion heifer, we welcome you back to the Ford F-150 EcoBoost show ring. We are getting down towards the end of the show. We've got some bulls to look at, and then we're going to make our Supreme Drive a little bit later on this afternoon. But I'll tell you one thing, if you are here in kind of an observatory role, and if you got a little bit of shopping on the mind, just between you and me and the fence post, I guarantee you all of our vendors here would much rather sell you their goods than they would pack them out of here tonight. So if you are in the shopping mood, feeling like doing a little bit of wheeling and dealing, go on over and talk to our vendors. I'll bet you they'd be happy to cut you a deal on some of their goods, and that way you pack it out instead of them. And right now, that is the last thing that they feel like doing.
we kind of start to wind things down for the evening. A great end of this Hereford female show out here in the open show. Excellent lineup of females. You guys have heard me talk about these cattle relatively quickly here this afternoon. Good set of females all the way through. Good feet and legs. Once again, that's where my priorities are at. I like them good-footed. I like them fresh in their shape, and I like them to be good-looking. And those are the type of females that I picked out here and that you've got out here in front of you today. With that being said, I've had a great time here in Billings and look forward to sorting the bull show still, obviously, but then getting into the Supreme Drive tonight. And I would expect that the Hereford division will be very well represented in those two Supremes tonight. My hat's off to you guys as breeders for coming out and staying involved and trying to use the show ring to better your genetics at home. I think it's a very valuable tool and something that's often misunderstood and underutilized. There's a lot of good cattle standing out here that'll go on and be very productive in their life and do a lot of good things for their breeds, not just this breed, but all the breeds. So nice job out here, guys. I'm going to hop off the mic. There's two females that hit me awful hard in their respective divisions. I'm going to go show you which ones they are and get you a champion in reserve here in this open show.
Congratulations to Cooper Miller of Newcastle, Wyoming. He is your grand champion with tag number 546. And tag number 510 comes in reserve. Congratulations. That was 510, wasn't it? I thought. Maybe I'm wrong. I just got a real quick glance at it. 570. Correction, that is tag number 570 with the reserve. Can't find that one either. Shown by Story Hereford Ranch of Bozeman, Montana. With that, we're going to go right into the bull show. Good luck to all of our contestants in the bull show here this afternoon. Spring bull calves, March to June of 2023, going to be coming up first. We'll welcome in tag 525 from Red Willow of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Tag number 508 from Beth Bunkers of Roscoe, Montana. Tag 535 from Frank Herfords of Roscoe, Montana. Tag number 578, Marty Wilcox of Spangle, Washington, and Gene Stillon of Cheyenne, Wyoming, with tag number 645. Junior bull calves, you are going to be on deck.
Really nice pair of bulls out here in this first class, and little different types. I really like the productiveness of the bull that we're going to use to win. Obviously, he's a little more relaxed out here in the show ring this afternoon, and that definitely probably plays a part into it. But you study the bull for what he is, and he's a really nice made bull that's really good on them feet and legs. He's got a great slope to his shoulder. He's made right in his spine. He really sets up with a real good hip and hind leg here from the side profile. And then I think as an added bonus, you get that extra body shape, you get that extra performance, and just that extra maturity today. He's an awful nice bull that I think will be a real productive herd sire on down the road. The bull that comes in second has some very unique pieces to him. I like the extra ruggedness this guy has in terms of his foot and bone out here today. He too is a shapely kind of a bull that's maybe just a little greener and rawer when we compare him to that bull that wins the class. But he's still a good rascal. He's good on them feet and legs. He's got a nice muscle shape to him. As you can see out here today, he's not giving us his best look, and I think he'll have better days ahead of him. But he's the right kind. He's just a little greener and rawer today compared to that bull that wins. Same can be said for this bull that comes out here in third. A very nice type of bull. I like that he's set right there in his shoulder. He really ties his neck nice and neat into the top of his shoulder. He's made right in his spine, and he handles himself well on the move. Once again, one that's given us some fits out here from a showmanship perspective. But I still think he's a good bull that's got a nice muscle shape, just a little greener today. Dark red bull that comes next. High performing type of a bull that just doesn't balance quite as well as the three ahead of him. Little roach there in his top line on the move, a little sloped from his hooks to his pins, maybe just a little planer up there through his front end, but you sure admire the extra muscle shape and performance that you get out of him. And then we round things out with the youngest bull in here, and he's sure enough the right type. Good and sound on them feet and legs, nice muscle shape. He's about 2 months younger than all them other bulls, so he gives up a lot of weight and a lot of performance compared to them cattle today. Really nice set. Let's give him a hand.
In reserve, Gene still on of Cheyenne, Wyoming with tag number 645. That is Big Bang. And your champion is 535. Cochise, shown by Frank Hereford of Roscoe, Montana. Going to bring in another good set of bulls right here. These are January and February calves. Tag 581 from Marty Wilcox of Spangle, Washington. Marty also brings his tag 5 number 580. 567 from Gene still on. Also 568 from Gene still on. And Marty Wilcox with 579.
really powerful bull that wins this next bull calf class, February's. Sound structured, good on them feet and legs, and then I think he's got the extra mass and muscle shape to go along with it. He sure acts like a bull. He wants to push this young lady around, but when we get him set up, that bull still balances right. All the parts and pieces fit together right, and then that extra mass and power sure sets him apart out here. Polled bull that comes there, or I guess he's got some nubs there, but good bull that comes here in second. Skurs on him or what have you. Really good footed. Very sound. I think the difference between 2 and 3 is the extra body shape in this bull. A little softer rib, a little boulder made there in his mid rib and back into his flank. Horn bull that comes out there in third. Like the pattern in that bull. Long bodied, athletic in his movement, a little green and raw compared to them other cattle. A little drier in his flank and maybe just a little harder in his rib shape. We got a pair of bulls down here towards the bottom of the class. Good bulls. They're going to be productive types. Good dark red bulls that are sound on their feet and legs. They're a little plainer than their contemporaries out here. Maybe don't have the eye appeal and the style that these other cattle have. Nonetheless, good cattle. Let's give them all a big hand.
Your top two of a pretty tough class right there. Number 567 from Gene Stillon of Cheyenne, Wyoming. And then Spangle, Washington. And Marty Wilcox with tag number 579. Going to be the class champion. We'll go now to make selection of our champion junior bull calf and reserve. Welcome back to the Ford F-150 show ring. Roscoe, Montana's Frank Hereford's with tag number 535. And standing in reserve, Gene Stillon with 645. And, of course, already in the show ring, Marty Wilcox, Spangle, Wyoming with 579. And Gene Stillon of Cheyenne, Wyoming will stand in reserve as well there with 567. Spring yearling bulls, March to April. You are going to be next out, 563, 557, and 571.
The Hereford Bull calves have put up a pretty good fight out here this afternoon. I'm sure it's their first trip to town for most of them, but good bulls. Nice little set of bulls out here. I think a lot of future represented here in this division, and some really nice cattle. When you get these two class winners back out here, one bull that's really soft in terms of his body shape, good structured, just a real complete kind of a bull, and then the dark red bull here that's putting up a fight. He's kind of a rawer type of a bull that's got a lot of muscle shape and a lot of power to him, a lot of ruggedness there on his feet and legs. Awful good type. I'm torn in my decision between the two of them. I'm going to go give them one more look and get you your champion and reserve selected.
Congratulations to 579. The tag number there shown by Marty Wilcox of Spango, Washington. That's going to be your champion junior bull calf. We'll bring in the reserve from that class and make selection of reserve champion junior bull. And 535 shown by Frank Hereford of Roscoe, Montana. That is Cochise, going to be your reserve champion junior bull calf. We'll go to class number 17 now, spring yearling bulls. Calving in the month of March or April. All three of these just happen to be March calves. Number 563, Kelly Spencer from KC, Wyoming. Number 557, Megan Otis of Immigrant, Montana. And 571, out of Bozeman, Montana. This one off the Story Hereford Ranch.
Excellent March bull that wins this next class. Lots of style in this guy. Very athletic, very well made here from the side. Great rib shape in that bull. It all just fits real well. Smooth made, but still rugged. Still rugged in his type. Got good feet and legs under him. Good testicle. There's just not much wrong with that bull. He's awful nice. Bull that comes in second is very muscular and shapely. I like the boldness that he has there to his center body and his rib. He probably don't get around the ring quite as correctly as that bull that wins. A little more rigid there in his hock set. Just a little funky in the way that he's made in his shoulder. On the stop, you like the power in him, though. I sure like the muscle shape and all the rib in him. A really nice pair there at the top end. Bull that's going to come in third, he's just a little narrower than them other two cattle. Probably just a little flatter in terms of his rib shape, just a little narrower base. Don't have quite the punch down his top that we get in these other bulls. But sure, long enough and high enough performing to have some production value.
In reserve of the class right there, Megan Otis of Immigrant, Montana with tag number 557. That is Chico Peak. And your class champion coming off the Story Hereford Place in Bozeman, Montana, tag number 571. That's going to bring us to class number 18, your junior yearling bulls, calving in the month of January and February. Got a couple of early January calves to look at right here. Tag number 505 from David Brownell of Pindroy, Montana. And Chesney DeBay of Belgrade, Montana brings us in tag number 517.
We definitely turned up the intensity here in the bull show. Really nice horn bull that wins this next class. Wow, lots of style in that guy. Lots of presence and masculinity up there through that front end. Really bold in his center body shape. Excellent on them feet and legs, and he's extra powerful. There's not much not to like about that bull. And then to top it off, you get that nice deep red color. He's sure one that I'd be a big fan of. That bull that comes in second to him just gives up some size. He gives up some of that performance, some of that extra length and mass that we get in that class winner. Oh. I saw that. Bull looked pretty good there off the halter. Maybe he planned that. Good shape in that bull. Just gives up the performance and the style we get in that class winner. Let's give them two a hand.
Couple of very nice bulls right there in a small class. Tag number 505 in reserve at David Brownell of Pindroy, Montana. And your class champion, shown by Chesney DeBay of Belgrade, Montana. We're going to go now to make our selection for champion yearling bull. Going to welcome back into the show ring two from class number 17. Of course, Story Hereford Ranch is tag 571 and tag 557. This is for selection of your champion yearling bull.
This is a really fun pair of bulls to come back out here for this division. Kind of opposite types, if you will. You've got a really nice performance bull there in that herd, in that horned bull. I love the length and the shape of that guy. Extremely athletic for how shapely and stout he is, and still so masculine in his presence. And then the pulled bull up here in the lead, good-looking bull. Awful neat through that front end, deep body, a little more moderate probably in his stature. I think there's still some differences amongst them. If I could fix that bull, I'd like to fix him just a little in his hip. He's just a little shorter and steeper in that hip set, and doesn't have the overwhelming mass and masculinity that we get in that horned bull. So there's definitely some differences amongst them, but the thing that they both have going for them and what makes them similar is quality. They're both high quality stock, highly presented, highly shown, competitive type bulls. I'd be proud to own either one of them, and I don't think there's any shame in being reserve in this division. I'm going to go out and show you the one I like best. My hat's off to these two exhibitors here. They've really done a nice job getting these bulls presented and shown out here.
Congratulations to tag number 517, shown by Chesney DeBay of Belgrade, Montana. Going to be your champion yearling bull.
So we get that second place coming in line out here. He fits the mold of the muscle shape and the power that we got in that class winner and eventually division winner. He probably don't have quite the class and eye appeal that we get in these other two cattle here from the side, but still the right kind of bull. And I sure don't want to take anything away from the productive type that he is. That being said, though, we got to keep those two really stylish bulls together in my mind in this division. We'll use that bull out of the first class for reserve.
Congratulations to the Story Hereford Ranch of Bozeman, Montana. For tag number 571, that is going to be your reserve champion yearling bull. Now let's go to senior yearling bulls. Just a single entry right here from Barstar Cattle of Muscle Shell, Montana. Tag number 549.
Kind of a real big-bodied, rugged-made fall 2-year-old out here. Only one out here, but obviously he'd stand a little more competition. Great big back shape in him. Really good out of his hip. Got a nice stifle in him, and still balances. He doesn't want to set up quite perfect out here yet, but I think once we get him set up, he's dang sure balanced good enough on the move. I'll say that. And I always think that good cattle come together the best on the move. Good, just a good complete bull there. Like I said, what you see is what you get. Really meaty, really bold body shaped, extra stout.
That is tag number 549 from Barstow Cattle Company of Muscle Shell, Montana. Now we'll go to tag number 538. A couple of 2-year-old bulls right here. Tag 538 from Frank Hereford of Roscoe, Montana, and Marty Wilcox of Spangle, Washington brings us tag 582. We'll make our selection for Champion Senior Bull after this class, and then, of course, the selection for Grand and Reserve Champion Bull.
Great pair of senior bulls out here. A little different speed, a little different type, but both quality cattle. I like that more moderate bull for his extra muscle shape that he's got to him. And for having extra muscle shape, he's extra athletic in his movement. He's maybe just a little tighter in terms of his body shape, a little rawer there in his center rib compared to that big beef bull behind him. But I'm okay with that. I think there's extra style in the bull. I think there's extra shape in him and extra athleticism in his movement. The bull that I'm going to use second is really big and long. There's a great deal of performance in that guy, as you would expect being horned. Real rugged in his look. He is a little deeper and softer there in the turn to his rib. I'll sure enough give him that. Albeit, though, I think he's still just a little flatter in the way that he's shaped. I think he's a little narrower constructed kind of a bull, a little flatter in his muscle shape. And then when we pull him there on the lead, he's one that's a little more lethargic in his movement and just doesn't get out and take that real authoritative step as that bull does that wins the class. Really nice pair. Let's give both of them exhibitors a big hand.
Reserve in the class going to Spangle, Washington's Marty Wilcox with tag number 582. And Frank Hereford's of Roscoe, Montana on top of that class, tag number 538. We're going to bring back in tag number 549 right here to make selection of our champion senior bull, and then, of course, reserve. And we'll follow that up with the selection of our grand champion bull.
we get these two real stout senior bulls back out here for this division. You know, both muscular, both shapely type cattle that have some extra style to them in this particular division. I think the difference is that extra body shape and that bull that won the first class. A little bolder hearted and a little softer there in his midrib, and he carries it back into his flank. Just kind of helps his balance there on the move. Really nice bull to win this division. Let's give him a hand. Young man there, you'll be reserved.
Tag number 549 from Barstar Cattle of Musselshell, Montana, going to be your champion senior bull with reserve going to 538. Frank Hereford's of Roscoe, Montana. And now back to the show ring. If you would, please, all those in contention for selection of Grand Champion Bull. While Dustin is making his selection right here, I want to talk to you a little bit about Supreme Row coming up tonight. First of all, juniors, you're going to be at 5 p.m. We'll do juniors at 5 p.m. Supreme Row show and selection right here. We'll do the females first and then the bulls. And then at 5:30, we'll do the open Supreme Row show. And again, females first and then the bulls. The selection of our grand champions in the open is going to take place up at the Ranch Rodeo tonight, just at about 6:30. So we'll line up right here at 6:20. Supreme Row Open. We're going to line up right here at 6:20 to be up for selection at the Ranch Rodeo at 6:30.
So we wrap up this bull show here in the Open Hereford show. Really nice lineup. These three division winners out here together. I think to recap kind of the way I sorted them here, these three bulls got out here by being the stouter bulls in their division. At home we like to breed our females moderate and keep those efficient in their type, but we like to use more powerful type bulls that have some extra muscle shape back on those females. And we raise and sell bulls for a living. This is right up my wheelhouse, and there's nothing that frustrates me more than when we pull bulls in the fall and they melt, and they look rough sometimes. But it's not the muscle shape that melts. It's the white muscle that melts off of them. So I like to sort my bulls with a little extra muscle shape and a little more power. It's just the way I like to do it, and it's the way I sorted this show. There's a lot of good bulls in this barn and in this show today. I was very impressed with the quality. And I think that speaks to the quality of the breeders that we've got here in the state, and the ones at the close states that decided to come out and show off their bulls and get them young bull calves ready for the winter shows. Bulls are getting tired, wanting to lay down on us. Real competitive show. Let's give all these breeders and exhibitors a big hand. I'm going to go out and get you your champion in reserve.
Congratulations to Chesney Dubay of Belgrade, Montana. He's going to be your grand champion bull. We'll make selection now for reserve. And tag number 549 does take reserve right there. Bar Star Cattle. Got just a few classes left to look at right here. Get of Sire. 582 from Marty Wilcox of Spangle, Washington. Then we've got Best Six Head, Premier Exhibitor, and Premier Breeder. Again, Junior Supreme Row, you're going to happen right here in about 16 minutes. Going to do the females first and then the bulls. Open Supreme Row, you're coming here at 5:30. The selection will take place at the rodeo later on this evening up in the Metro. Right before the Ranch Rodeo kicks off, we'll make the selection for our female and bull Supremes.
real nice set out here in this get a sire division. We got 2 pins, 2 groups, if you will. All nice cattle, very, very consistent within their respective sire groups. And you can see the differences in the sire groups. The dark red cattle over here on my right got a lot of performance and weight to them. They're obviously performance-driven type cattle, and these cattle over here on my left are very typey. They've all got a really nice balance to them, a great look, and a great style to them. So it's fun to see the differences amongst the sire groups. At the end of the day, I really like the type of this group over here on my left. They're going to be your champion, and we'll use those performance-driven type cattle for reserve. Really nice set. Let's go ahead and give them a big hand.
Congratulations to a couple of outstanding get of sire selections right there. Going to take a look next at best 6 head.
As we add the 2 extras for each of these groups, it doesn't change much. These cattle are still real consistent amongst their groups and their types and their contemporaries. Obviously we got that big senior bull that slides in on this group, so he sticks out, but he's the same type, a big, long, high-performing bull in that group. I guess I feel like I still really like this group over here to my left. I think those cattle are also consistent in their type and also high quality in their type, that they've got a lot of future to them. They'll be champion. You guys over here on my right will be reserve.
Again, congratulations to a couple of outstanding sets of cattle right there, even at the best of 6 head. Now, I believe we are going to the photo session of our show. Your premier exhibitor, Bart Starr Cattle Company, premier breeder, Bar Star and Megan Otis. And that does bring us to the conclusion of our Hereford show, and indeed to the conclusion of the shows for a 2023 NILE. We do have Supreme Road coming up yet tonight. Juniors, you're coming up real directly here, just about 9 minutes away. Junior Supreme show and selection takes place here in 9 minutes. We're going to do the females first, then the bulls, and at 5:30, we'll do the Open Supreme Row show. That's going to be females first, and then the bulls. The selection will take place again up at the Ranch Rodeo later this evening. We'll line up here at 6:20, make this be up to the rodeo by 6:30.